Welcome back to Cosmoholics Anonymous. I am your favorite mother of two bougie vintage, and today's video is faux face using products I hate, but I used to love. Now, hate is a very strong word, and some of the products I don't actually hate them, but I definitely fell out of love with them, and others, like this Smashbox Primer Water that I used to like swear by. Not that I hate it, but this was never a product I could use on its own. I always have to pair it with another primer. So first I'm spraying with my Smashbox Primer Water that is not spraying properly. There we go. And I'm also going to be sharing with you guys why I fell out of love with the products. So for starters, Smashbox Primer Water, the reason why I stopped using it or don't really care for it anymore is I feel like ever since I switched to Fenty, I didn't need to use it anymore because I always used it pairing it with another foundation, another primer. So that's a part of the reason. So I don't necessarily hate Smashbox Primer Water, but I don't love it either, okay? I don't really feel like it's necessary. I don't feel like it's a necessary product. And so the next product that I am completely out of love with is this. This is the Marc Jacobs Invisible Undercover Perfecting Coconut Face Primer. I've always kind of mentioned how it kind of stings. It kind of stings when you put it on. It's really, really watery. It's spraying out all over the place. Like, why is it why is it on the back of my hand? It's not spraying out properly. I don't like this. It's ghetto. I think it might be clogged. I haven't used it in a long time. So the reason why I don't really care for this primer, apart from the fact that it kind of stings, I don't find that it works well with every single foundation that I have. I mean, it's alright, but it's also more on the pricey side because it is Marc Jacobs. And right now I feel like I look like an oil slick. I don't remember it being like this. Does it dry? It's so oily. What kind of primer is this? Like, I look mad oily, girl. It's a good thing I'm using a matte foundation today, which you guys are probably gonna be shocked by. For foundation today, I'm actually whipping out the original Fenty foundation. I am completely out of love with this. I don't use it at all. In all honesty, I prefer Fenty's hydrating foundation to this one. I feel like this one is too heavy, and I didn't ever feel like that when I first started using it. I didn't feel like it was too thick. In the hydrating foundation, I'm actually 400, so I don't know if this is gonna match. Looks a little light though. And so the reason that I'm not really the biggest fan of the original Fenty foundation is because, one, the hydrating foundation I find is a way better formula. I have combination skin, so I can use whatever foundation. I can use the matte one or the hydrating one, and it's not going to be a big issue. I think the main reason I don't really care for this foundation anymore is because a couple times I've used it and I just felt like my skin looked too cakey. And I don't know, like, maybe my skin changes over time. Obviously, like, I age, right? But you know, black don't crack, girl. So because my skin changes over time, that could be why I just don't really like using this foundation. But my skin stopped liking it. So I had to move on, girl. My skin was like, no ma'am. The main two foundations I use now are my Pat McGrath foundation and my Fenty hydrating foundation. Those are the two foundations that I am like stuck on glue to. I alternate between the two, especially because the Pat McGrath one is really expensive, but that is neither here nor there. The next product I'm going to use is something you guys have not seen in probably 2-3 years on my channel. LA Girl Pro Conceal in Fawn. I haven't used this bad boy in forever. I haven't used this bad boy since the last decade, okay? It's been a long time. So, I know it's probably still popular on YouTube. Like, ooh, girl, I just remembered how thick it is. I should not have put that much, so we're just going to scoop some off of there and just Drag it on over here. Nobody needs this much concealer there. I hope I'm not gonna have like, my skin's not gonna regret this tomorrow. I'm sure this is still popular. This is like one of the best affordable concealers, or it used to be. Is it still? I don't know. I think the reason I stopped using this, or I fell out of love with it, was just because so many products had come out, and this is technically considered a drugstore product. So if I was doing like a drugstore look, I would probably still pull this out. But for a regular basis, I'm with like Fenty and other brands, girl. And who knows, maybe once I use it today, I might want to use it again tomorrow, but I highly doubt it, because just looking at how thick it is, I'm like, ooh, girl. Maybe I'll call this video full face of products I used to swear by, because these used to be my holy grail products. I feel like, look at, oh my god, it's so concealed. Girl. And I know I didn't color correct. It's because I don't have an old color corrector. I only have a new one, so that's why I didn't color correct. But this is concealed, girl. Oh my. That's full coverage. When things are good, when things are bad, when I'm happy, when I'm sad, I'm gonna wait. This video is actually hard to film because I'm the type of person that I don't be keeping like stuff that I don't like. I purge it, so it's crazy that I even have some of this stuff lying around still, because other products that I would think is perfect to use in this video that I haven't used in a long time, I didn't see it on my vanity, so I must have gotten rid of it. Because there's a product right now I'm thinking of that I wish I had. To contour, I'm going to use my ABH foundation stick in Cocoa. I know you guys have not seen this in a long time. This is a product that I kind of just outgrew. Listen, let me tell you something. Once Fenty came onto the market, a lot of things were like sayonara, you know? So I guess this was one of them, because I started using the matchsticks instead. And this is all right, but it's definitely not my favorite anymore. Sorry. Remember, I used to use the actual foundation, like the other color, as my actual foundation. It was such a good match for me for a long time, but I retired that a while ago too. I think one of the things that I don't care for with this foundation stick is it's so red. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's such a red based brown. It's barely even brown. Like, how is it? It's really, girl. I mean, once you blend it, it's all right, but it is so freaking red. And I think I used to like that because I felt like it just looked like a bronze, almost. Like you look bronzy, but that's not the look I go for these days. I like my cooler tones. This is really, really warm. I must say though that I love the way it blends. It's really melting nicely into the concealer, so I'm not completely mad at it, but I don't think I'll be picking it up anytime soon to use again. It's too red for me. One thing I will say is, if the matchsticks from Fenty were the consistency of the ABH product, the ABH foundation sticks, I would probably like the matchsticks better, because that's one of the complaints about the matchsticks, is that it is really dry. So you're supposed to, like, you know, pat it or rub it on the back of your hand first to use it. But girl, we don't have time for that every day. I feel like the products I'm using right now are super, like, kind of oily for my skin. They're a little bit more wet than I like to have it. So I'm just using my sponge to fix some things, to give it a little bit more flawlessness. And the next product, you guys probably know what it's gonna be. Trusty old banana powder, girl. I haven't used banana powder in 1,000 years. Like, seriously, I haven't used it in so long. I'm actually scared to use it because my makeup has evolved so much that, you know, yellow under eyes are not exactly my fave thing in the world. But maybe I could be gentle. Like, do you guys remember when banana powder was like the ish? There's gonna be at least one comment that's like, I actually like this makeup better than you do your makeup now. And I'm just gonna have to be like, peace be upon you, ma'am. May God be with your eyesight. Like, seriously. May God be with your eyesight, girl. Because you losing it. Banana powder is just another thing that I kind of outgrew. Once I started, you know, going to Sephora and getting my life in the Laura Mercier section, and I switched over to translucent girl, banana was a thing of the past. I retired her. I even am waiting to do my eyebrows last. Do you guys remember when I used to wait to do my eyebrows? Whew, girl. It's so crazy how things change, right? I don't even look like I'm baking right now. Like, I feel like I didn't put on enough yellow powder. This is not typically how I would look. Now I am going to whip out my good old Too Faced chocolate powder, Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This is the dark chocolate one. Oh, did you guys think that I was gonna whip out my MAC powder, girl? Yeah, no. That's still my baby. I am still a lover of dark deep, but I will be using dark. I guess I don't know how to bake anymore because there's barely anything to wipe or dust off. The craziest thing about this is that now I want to use my dark powder by MAC. So this is the Mineralized Skin Finish in dark, but I don't even have like a proper brush to apply it. So I guess I'll just use my sponge to apply it, but it's not typically how I used to do it, but the reason I don't really care for this powder anymore is because it was always an extra step. It was like a neutralizing thing, and I don't really do that anymore. And this powder is actually not the powder I wanted to use. I wanted to use like my MAC skin, is it Skin Finish? My MAC Fix powder, but I don't even have one here at the house. Like, that's how much I don't like it. I don't even buy it. It's just too heavy of a powder. There used to be a time where being a cake face was my goals, but not anymore, chap. I outgrew that. I wish I had a dip brow here, but I don't, so let's ignore brows. This is not a product I hate, so I'm just gonna do my brows quickly. I'm not even gonna include it in the tutorial. So for blush, I'm gonna use my Milani blush. I really used to like this blush. This is the Romantic Rose Powder Blush. I used to like it a lot, but I don't know, there's something about it that I just don't care for. It might be too light. It doesn't look like it on camera, but it's a little light, girl. I don't know about that. And for highlighter, I did used to swear by Soft and Gentle by MAC, and it's like a champagne color, and I'm not really a fan of Soft and Gentle. At this point, I think it's a little ashy, to be honest. And also, there's so many highlighters on the market, but even though I don't hate it, it's definitely a product I used to swear by, Soft and Gentle. I think Soft and Gentle is or was a top sold product by MAC, so there's that. My eyebrows are all kinds of jacked up. Oh well. And for eyes, I'm going to jump into my Born to Run palette because I definitely was swearing by this palette when it first came out, and I actually really do like the palette, but let me show you something. It's barely been used by me. That's not to say that I changed my mind about it, but I definitely used to swear by this palette. What I don't understand is if I was swearing by the palette, because I really like it, why didn't I use it? Is it because other stuff came out, or I'm just not creative? Like, and I don't even have any, what's it called on my eyelids right now. I don't have any primer on. I'm just gonna throw this on. I don't care. I like this palette when it came out, but the palette is saying otherwise, basically. I made really cute look with it when I dropped the video, but it's like, okay. I remember complaining that the palette was really heavy, but I spent enough on it. I should probably have used it more than I have. Now that I'm looking at it, actually, I feel like one of the problems is that there's too many shimmery shades in this. Maybe if there wasn't so many shimmery shades, I could get behind the palette again, but it's not a palette I would repurchase. And to be honest, I'm not really into repurchasing palettes anyway. I feel like once a palette is done, it's done. There's so many other things to try on the market, so I've never really owned more than one palette unless it was like a MAC color that I just bought the single pan for my magnetic palette. I don't think I've ever used pencil liner on my eyelid. Like, how do you even do it? I do not, like, what? But I want to smudge it, so that's why I'm doing this. I've literally never done this. It feels ghetto. Shout out to everybody that uses it on their lid, though. I don't know what I'm doing. The blue color on my eyeliner, on my waterline is not a color I hate. I just put it down so that I can make the blue shadow pop underneath it. And so I am actually gonna go throw my lashes on and then come back and finish the look. Okay, so last but not least, we are here at the lips. I actually got some mascara on the bottom there, but I ain't gonna clean it off, girl. I ain't got the time. I am gonna be using Ashton by ABH. This is the most, this is probably in 90% of my tutorials on YouTube. And it's not that I hate Ashton. I forgot I had it, girl. I used to swear by Ashton. I need to do a lip scrub. Ashton has always been one of my faves. And to be honest, I think I'm about to bust Ashton back out, girl. I don't have any problems with Ashton. And at this point, I would probably spray Fix Plus, but I don't have Fix Plus, so I'm just gonna use my Morphe spray, which I love. I don't hate this. I actually do have Fix Plus, but it has sparkles in it, and no, we're not doing that. I hate my face. I look like an African auntie. It is so cakey and yellow, and I think I look pretty, but you know, I definitely like, I think my favorite thing about the look is probably the eye look. It's very simple, but it commands attention. I like the eye look. The skin, no, not at all. And because I didn't use orange corrector, I look a hot stinking mess. And just no. Girl, no. Just no. It's way too heavy. I can't believe I used to walk around with this as my look. Like, what I will say is that after using these products again to just even see if I still like them, the ones that I could see myself using is definitely Ashton. I could see myself using, I could see myself using the ABH foundation stick, but I think I would have to mix it with something cooler. Or something, sorry, not something cooler, but something more neutral, because if I put something too cool with it, it's going to turn me gray and I'm going to look like a corpse. Okay, I'm not interested in that. I don't think I will ever use banana powder ever again. I will probably never use my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish ever again. So this is getting ready to be purged. I will never use this blush again. I will never use my Fenty foundation ever again. Not this color. I'm not going to say I wouldn't use the LA Girl concealer again because I think that the LA concealer is okay. But I don't see myself using my Smashbox Primer Water again. Or actually, no, I'm lying. I'll use this again, but I will not buy another bottle because I think it's a waste of money. Too Faced bronzer. No, don't need it. Majority of the stuff that I've retired, I don't think I'm ever going to be purchasing again, with the exception of Ashton, if it's still on the market. If this is still on the market, girl, I'm coming to Sephora soon, girl, to get me a backup. But, oh, it's such a perfect color. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure on the products that I don't like, and they won't be seeing another dollar of mine in this decade. Comment down below how you guys feel about this makeup look. Tell me one product that you guys are just over. And yeah, I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one. So you guys can get a close-up, girl.